You have learnt how different quantities are measured. When we measure things, sometimes we do it very carefully, while at others we simply make a guess or estimate. When asked how long it takes you to reach school, you give a casual estimate and say about 15 to 20 minutes. But you tell accurately the time at which school begins. When weighing potatoes or onions, the grocer will easily weigh in 1 extra. However, a goldsmith is very careful to weigh gold or silver accurately. It means that great care is taken while measuring some things, while some measurements are approximate. They are estimations. For example, how will you determine the thickness of 1 page of a book? Do this. Measure the thickness of a big book of some 500 pages. You can do it easily with the help of your ruler. Then you can calculate the thickness of 1 page. Try this. It is difficult to measure the thickness of 1 pencil. But if you place many pencils as shown in the figure, their total thickness can be measured. From that, you can calculate the thickness of 1 pencil. Do this for yourself. Accuracy of measurements. Things that are valuable, important, and used in small quantities are always measured very carefully and accurately. While determining the proportions of the constituents of a substance too, measurement is done as accurately as possible. A shirt that is a little too long or short does not cause a serious problem. But while making parts of a machine that fit into one another, even a tiny error cannot be tolerated. The accuracy required depends upon the purpose of the measurement. Accordingly, a suitable measuring instrument must be selected. You have seen the graduation marks made on the ruler, the thermometer, or the dial of the clock. You also know that the smallest distance a ruler can correctly measure is 1 millimeter. A wristwatch can correctly measure time with an accuracy of 1 second only. Till recently, it was not possible to measure quantities smaller than these accurately. But recent technological progress has given us instruments that give us micro measurements of quantities like distance, mass, and period of time accurately. During prestigious sports meets, instruments that measure accurately up to 1/100th of a second are used nowadays to measure the time taken by participants in events like running and swimming. At the Rome Olympics in 1960, flying Sikh Milkha Singh missed his medal by a 1/10th second. You might have also heard that at the Los Angeles Olympics in 1984, the Indian athlete P.T. Usha lost hers by 1/100th second. Measuring bowling speed. During a cricket match, the bowling speed of a fast bowler is given instantaneously. How is this speed measured? Certain waves are used for this purpose. The speed is calculated from the time taken by the ball and the distance traversed by it. It is measured using the radar system. The radar is also used in other sports competitions like tennis, cycling, and running. It is also used to spot and stop vehicles overspeeding on busy roads. The scales used in grocery shops nowadays display the exact weight of objects. In these scales, an object is not weighed with the help of weights. When an object is placed properly on the pan of the scales, the digits showing the weight are flashed on the small screen. Possible errors in measurements. There are two sources of error in any measurement. 1. The limitation of the instrument itself, and 2. Carelessness in handling the instrument. In a neck-to-neck race, our wristwatches will not help to tell the differences of less than 1 second. It is necessary to use instruments of the proper sensitivity for that purpose. Errors that arise due to carelessness while measuring something cannot be excused. If a person reads 5.6 cm when the meter rod shows 5.5 cm, it is an error on the part of the individual. Standardized weights and measures. The Weights and Measures Department of the government works so that consumers are not cheated in the weights and measures of commodities. Officers of the department visit various places to inspect whether proper weights are used and whether the scales used are proper. The law makes it compulsory for traders to take the following precautions with respect to weights and measures. A balance must be stable at one place. The beam of the balance should be such that it moves around a vertical axis freely. The beam of the balance should have the stamp of the Department of Weights and Measures. Every weight must have a hole in the center. It is filled with lead. The lead carries the stamp of the Weights and Measures Department. If this mark is missing, the weight is not considered as standard and the department takes cognizance of it. A weight has to be made of metal. A wooden or any other weight is not considered to be authorized.